got the same trajectory. In a couple of years, you could definitely imagine him breaking into that top 50 in the world, breaking into the elite.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Pragg will be out of the tournament after this one, but wow, has he impressed us, and he can keep impressing in this game. Take us through it, David.
Yeah, that's right. So we do see a Queen's Pawn opening, a Slav defense, and this is actually something that Firouzja had earlier against the world champion a couple of rounds ago. And Firouzja last time was on the white side.
Matches, you prepare all these variations and then your opponent typically plays something completely different and you're like, okay.
You spend weeks and months studying one exact opening and then it doesn't come up. And then maybe it will come up 10 years later when you've forgotten it all.
Yeah.
That happened to me once. I found this incredible novelty and I think it only arrived on the board 6 years after I first studied it. And by then, I couldn't work out the details.
Yeah. I had a kind of a situation when I was playing in the Isle of Man, and my round one opponent was none other than Fabiano Caruana. And I thought, great, how do you prepare against a grandmaster that plays everything? So I thought, you know what, I'm going to hedge my bets and I'm just going to prepare for the King's Pawn opening. So I prepared all morning, all night, and I get to the board and he's picked up the Queen's Pawn open. I'm like, no way. You haven't played this all year and you're choosing to play that against me. And yeah.
Meanwhile, I do manage to keep my house because Wesley So and Nakamura, they played a draw, not in the typical Berlin that we've seen, the infamous Berlin draw in 13 moves. This time they played the double bomb cloud again. So a repetition of Carlsen against Nakamura from the last event.
Right, but both of the Americans, they are ready for the knockout stages. Not quite sure who they will face yet, but Hikaru probably will finish in second place. So he's going to face whoever ends up in 7th.
And meanwhile,
It could be Firouzja.
Yeah, it could be Firouzja, and Nakamura, he's got a lot of respect for Firouzja. I think he wouldn't be happy with that pairing at all. So, okay, meanwhile, some developments in this game. Ivanka, you saw your queen move, white bringing the queen out, attacking a pawn. Black had to misplace his rook on the left there. Black's rook horribly placed right now, but it was necessary
Definitely.
to defend a pawn.
I have to make one mention of that rook being on a terrible square. Yes, it looks awful, but the kind of logic behind it is that yes, the rook is misplaced, then so is the queen, and if we were to do maths, the queen is worth 9, rook is worth 5, and whenever I played this opening with black, it was always a pleasure for me to put my rook on that square, because I just thought, well, you've misplaced the queen, and as soon as the queen went back, my rook went back.
Yeah, this is true. Black's rook is bad for now. pawn chess 24 on Chessable. There's so many ways you can do puzzles. You get told the answer afterwards, then just sit there, try and work them out. And the more you repeat these puzzles, the quicker your pattern recognition will become, and the quicker your calculation will become.
Talking about that, Chessable is an amazing resource. I mean, I've used it now extensively for the last few months, and it's just amazing how you keep your memories, your chess streak alive, how you're constantly memorizing patterns, and your brain starts working out certain things, and I just find it a fantastic tool. So I definitely would recommend that. On the Play Magnus app there, David mentioned it, you have Tactics Frenzy. That's a lot of fun. It's addictive, mind you. But okay, some action happening on the board because we see a pawn advance. And if there's something to excite me in chess, it's when someone advances their pawns and opens up those diagonals. But David, is my enthusiasm going to be short-lived? I suspect you're going to pour cold water.
No, I mean, it's not a bad move, and I mean, obviously, I'm just waiting to see the evaluation bar as well to give me a hint, but it's definitely not a bad move for white, but it's very, very ambitious. It shows Praggnanandhaa, as he did against Magnus, he wants to win even against the top guys. He's got nothing to lose in this game. A draw is the same as a loss. So Praggnanandhaa being extremely ambitious, but I wouldn't personally have even dreamt of that move. I thought, okay, it's going to be a draw either way. Pushing pawns, opening the white king, I mean, you're never going to create a pass pawn yourself, but opening up your white king could come back to haunt you, especially when you don't have too much time on the clock. If you just miscalculate one check, then suddenly white's king is really exposed. It wants to move the pawn backwards to guard it, but okay, the queens have disappeared, and that shows that they are heading towards a draw. Prag, he tried something, which, I mean, fair play to him, but it's not quite going to be enough to win.
In fact, the draw has been agreed. So, Alireza does it.
Alireza, the 17-year-old, does it. It is over for 15-year-old Praggnanandhaa at 4 a.m. in the morning soon for the 15.